What's up, folks? We'll touch on a topic real quick. I get up very early, go to work all day, so I'm not going to be here forever, but I am going to touch on a topic. So, over the last 3 days, I've had people who were not even very political prior to the election. I think the reality is setting in on a lot of people just because of recent events. Even people who I know that lean left watched the same riots we did all summer, and watched the media reaction, the political reaction, the reaction from social media, big Hollywood, big tech, and they watched the reaction for months as the left was very violent in everything they did, um, and then they would see the reaction from what happened at the Capitol, and you could see the hypocrisy and the standards of which we're using to judge that stuff. Like I said before, the man that shot up the softball field that was a Bernie Sanders supporter, nobody blamed Bernie. Um, During all these riots over summer, when even Kamala Harris was raising money to get these people out of jail, even though they were destroying and burning down cities, city blocks, whatever you want. Beating people down, shootings, stabbings, everything under the sun. The reaction at the time was, this is democracy. This is what happens. This is what happens when you push people, blah, 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 blah. On and on and on. That's all we heard. And the whole time, those of us that had real jobs and real responsibilities in life are going to work, coming home, looking at this shit on the TV, and we're all sitting here saying, what is going on in our country? Americans don't behave like this. We never have behaved like this. Why is this being allowed? Why is our government allowing this? Why is, the police allowing this? Well, because the government was telling them to allow it. But all these people, and like I said, some of them lean really left. They all now see the hypocrisy, and they're like, I think it's just now dawning on them the serious situation we're in, because we have a bunch of hypocrites, liars, and thieves in Washington that absolutely want to set up socialism, and they're going to come for your constitutional rights. And guess what? Now they have the power to do it, folks. They have the House, they have the Senate, they have the presidency. They will stack the Supreme Court. They'll make D.C. a state. They'll make Puerto Rico a state. They're on a roll here. And they have the power to declare each and every one of us domestic terrorists at the moment they choose. Because they control, well, actually, because big tech controls them and they're going right down the path that big tech wants to, they have the power to censor and shut us up and decide what messages we can hear. Look at what they did with the Hunter Biden story. They shut that shit down. There's so many people who have said out loud, if they had known about that, they would have voted differently. What we have done over the past 30 years as conservatives is we've done the responsible things. We went to work. We've tried, we believe in God. We believe in our country. We believe in freedom. We believe that if I'm not infringing on your rights, then I should have freedom. And if you're not infringing on my rights, you should have freedom. Big government is not the answer. Big government, like Ronald Reagan said, is the problem. It will never be the answer in this country. This country is great because of the people of the country, not because of the government. The government of this country is not what makes it great. Most of the time, it's what brings the country down. But anyway, so I've had these people, and a lot of them, like, I've had a lot of questions this week. And it's about this, it's about that. One of the main topics, though, that I've been questioned about is what I think is going to happen, and whether or not, what we can do, this, that, and the other. We've kind of backed ourselves into a corner in a way, because we have allowed fake conservatives to trick us into thinking they were real conservatives, and we voted them into these offices, and when they get into office, they're actually establishment, or even worse, they are for sale. The lobbyists get them, and at that point, they don't represent us any longer. They represent themselves. So the only thing we can do at this point is change that mentality. We have to be smarter than they are. That's the only way I know to say it. Up until now, they have been actually smarter than us because they have taken control of everything that sets the culture. By taking control of everything that sets the culture, they control the messages. They control who gives the messages. They control who hears the messages. So they've got a leg up on us there. Now that they have not only taken control of the culture, but they actually have control of the government. You can look at 8 pillars of socialism, and when you think about that, you're talking about, and I don't have nothing in front of me right now, so I'm just going to name them off the best I can. You have to have social health care. You have to take religion. You have to take guns. You have to take the education system, which they have done. You have to run national debt up. You have to increase poverty through taxation and things like that. You have to use welfare. You have to use those things. And then lastly, but most importantly, you have to create division based on race and social things, rich versus poor, black versus white, American versus immigrant, things of that nature. You have to do that because as long as people are united, you can't do what our government is doing to us. The fact that we are so divided and separated is how they get by with all this, because they keep us focused on the little stuff that doesn't matter, like skin color and who's having sex with who. And by keeping us focused on that, we forget about what they're supposed to be doing. So while they're up there not doing their jobs and selling the American people out to every lobbyist and big tech and every bad actor out there, we're going to work. We're trusting they're going to do the right things, and we're getting screwed. So we've kind of painted ourselves into a corner. One thing that I always have done, and one thing that I will say now, you don't ever go looking for a fight. And that's what I tell you, because I've had even people, well, Americans can do this. Yes, we can. Yes, Americans have the power as far as to do anything we want to do. The government does work for us. We do not report to the government. The government has no control over us that we do not give them. Us being peaceful and allowing them to do whatever they want is consent, okay? By us going to work every day and keeping this country running and allowing them to do what they want to, that is consent. So we have consented for them to behave this way. We have to stop consenting for them to behave this way. We have to be smarter than to go out here and act stupid. Because if you go out here right now, if you say the wrong thing, if you move the wrong way, if you are violent, you're going down. I mean, they're going to take you, they're going to censor you, they're going to shut you up, they're going to put you in jail, they're possibly going to kill you. And they're going to put you on, they're going to put you on a watch list. And that's what they're going to do. So we have to be smarter than that. We can't be stupid. I mean, they've already outsmarted us as far as taking control of, American culture. So at this point, we have to learn to spread our message. We have to be able to, and I've noticed that with a lot of people, that even though in the beginning, the first couple times they're talking to me about this stuff, they're looking at me like I got two heads, because of the fact they have been brainwashed into thinking that conservatives are this evil group of people, when in all reality, we're not. Like I tell them, I don't give a damn about what you do as far as anything you're doing, as long as it's not affecting my rights as a citizen. Because what you're doing, it's none of my damn business until it starts affecting me, my family, my loved ones, things like that. But so now we're at a point to where we're kind of boxed in. And like I keep telling them, the only thing we can do, and this is what I'll tell anybody, the only thing we can do at this point is spread the message. We have to spread the message. We have to stand our ground. My daddy was a very smart man. He taught me a lot of shit. He taught me when to fight and when not to fight. He taught me when to stand my ground and how to stand my ground. My daddy was right, wrong, or indifferent. He was going to tell you the truth every time. And he taught me to be that way as well. It doesn't matter. You don't bullshit people. You tell them the truth. You give them the facts. They either like it, don't like it, doesn't really matter. The facts are the facts. We have to get back to that in this country, where the facts are the facts. It's not about how you feel about the facts. It's about what the facts are. So we have to really push that. We have to hold on to our freedoms tighter than ever, because they have to destroy Americana. They have to destroy the things that we hold dear to take control of this country. So we have to hold on to our freedoms tighter than we have ever held on to them before. First Amendment, Second Amendment. We have to hold on to our right to assemble peacefully. We have to hold on to our right to assemble and worship how we see fit. We have to hold on to our right to have our firearms and that not be infringed. We have to hold on to all these rights first and foremost. If we do not cling to these rights that make us the greatest country in the world, then we will lose everything. That being said, as I told you, my daddy always told me, you don't ever fight a battle that's not worth winning. So I'm not going to ever fight a battle that's not worth winning. But when that fight comes along, that battle comes along, where it's worth standing on that hill, you stand on it. You die on it if necessary. You do what you have to do. So at this point, we actually need to start peacefully pushing back. We have to. We have to push on the people we elected. We have to push on them harder than we've ever pushed on them before. We have to say, hey, you don't want to do what we asked you to do after we elected you, you won't be in office. You will not win another election. You will be gone unless you are going to do what we choose for you to do. We have to quit letting them make us think that we are somehow some kind of small, crazy group of people. We're not. The vast majority of this country is conservative. A lot of them just don't know it. A lot of times when I'm talking to people who think they lean left, once you actually take two pieces of paper and you write down progressive principles and the way progressives think, Marxist, socialist, all this stuff, you write that down, and then you write down the way God-fearing American conservatives think, and when they look at it, they cannot believe that they thought that they lean left, because they don't. They actually are more conservative than they know. They have been tricked into thinking they lean left. So we have to wake all of those people up. We have to wake them up. We have to show them what our values are, stand by our values, don't pick a fight, but know when to fight. And that's really where we're at right now. There's nothing else we can do. You can take anything from me, doesn't matter what it is, and I can get it back. I can work my ass off and I can get it back. If you take the people I love from me, if their lives, their freedoms, my home, things like that are in jeopardy, I can't get that back. If you take my freedoms from me, I can't get that back. So taking personal possessions, personal property, things like that, that's nothing. Tornado blows through, takes that away. As long as everyone's intact, everybody's good, you don't worry about it. Same situation here. until there is an attack that is going to take what you cannot replace. A, being people you love and care about. B, being the freedom that was granted to you by the Constitution, by God Himself, by our forefathers. Until you are staring at losing that, you have to be smarter. Now, at the point where you have a tyrannical government, and a tyrannical government is trying to take your freedoms, your rights, and your people you love and care about away from you, you got to examine yourself then. You got to give your own self a gut check. But at the same time, that is where I stand my ground, and that is the hill that I can see that is worth fighting and dying for. So take it for what it's worth. The majority of people, the more you talk to them, they're more conservative than they know. They have been tricked into this. We have allowed a smaller group of individuals to take control by taking control of education, by taking control of the media, the mindset, everything, by being able to control the message, basically. So we have to take control of the message back. Anyways, I'm going to get some rest, think on it, like, don't like, leave some comments, don't leave some comments, spread the message. That's what's important. Wake people up. That's what's important. God bless.